Jerry, with the tag news today, do you hope that that's a placeholder for a long-term deal?
Well, of course, it's the system in the NFL, and I did visit with George to let him know what we were going to do today. I told him how excited we are that he is going to have a future with the Cowboys, that he was very deserving, because in and of itself it's a very significant data point relative to where we thought we would be 5 or 6 months ago. So how long that's been. But the bottom line is that it was a privilege to be able to, frankly, let him know that he was going to have certainly that kind of interest in us. I expressed to him how valuable a part of the team that we think he is, I think he is, the kind of contribution he can make. He'll continue to get better working with Dak and working with the other receivers. So we talked about the future. We both reiterated how good it was for him to be here, and know that what we have in place assures that he will be here. As far as negotiation of terms and length of terms, we've had several outstanding players that have played under the franchise tag, including Dak, to be specific. I think Lawrence, and I need my notes to go through the others, but we've got a great track record of working with players through this time. There are two different things. One is very clearly the Cowboys want George Pickens to be a part of our future. It's very clearly. That says that so clearly. And it has a lot of muscle behind it when it says it. So I'm clear with that. I was rewarded that he expressed himself in the way he did about how comfortable he was here, how much he liked working with Dak and his teammates, and he was looking forward to his future with the Cowboys. So that's where we'll leave it. I know the subject is where are we, what can we do regarding a negotiation. That's just that, and the system's in place that if you can negotiate and it works for both parties, that's fine. If not, you play on the tag. So that's official now, and it's in place, and that's the way I look at it.
What's your confidence level that you can get them done?
Do I have to speak up a little bit? I'm sorry.
What's your confidence level in getting a long-term deal done by training camp?
So often when we've done franchise, we get long-term deals done. That's a lot of confidence there. Again, we really get a lot of deals done because we want them to be a part of the future beyond the franchise year for it to be there. We've even gone as far as, just to remind you that we basically have franchise like Dak twice. And so there's no question. That's why I'm trying to be real clear. Without a question, this is an expression on our part of what kind of person we think he is, what kind of player we think he is. I think that in its own way says a lot right there. Regarding his representation, I can clearly work with his agent, not clearly to you, but clearly to me. I have no issues. We haven't met, as you well know, but we haven't met. But to the end that we can have discussion about him and other players that he represents. We understand the angst that's there, how he's representing and his goals of maximizing the dollars. And he clearly is accomplished enough to know the alternative to that is our job of managing the club and the salary cap and getting as much mileage out of the cap as we can. No mistake about how much we want George Pickens to be a part of our future. And I would want all of our fans to rest assured that I have every intention of working very good with his agent. I have no reason to have an issue other than the fact that he represented Parsons, and we ended up making a trade with Parsons. But y'all heard me say before that had little to do with his involvement. That was more about just the situation, criticize me or not, about what Parsons was worth in a decision on our part.
You made a point to say you can work with the agent, and the reason is, I guess, an issue because you made a point last year to say that I don't need to talk to the agent, I don't even know the agent's name. Do you regret how that narrative came out, or you making a point that I have no problem with the agent now?
The regret is not at all the way it turned out.
Mm-hmm. I'm just talking about how it worked, the agent narrative.
And so I don't have a regret. Agents, attorneys, they're not the principal.
Okay.
They represent, as we all know, I don't have to explain to anybody that, they represent many players in this case, or an attorney represents many clients. And so I understand that. I've been doing this a long time, both on the field and off the field. And so I understand representation. And I don't get mad about it. I don't flare about it. I may not be getting the answers that I think is in the best interest of my side of the ledger, but I sure don't flare about it. I have no reason to flare about him because I've never even talked to him. And so the bottom line is that to the end that we can, I've had agents with their wives spend the night in my house before. So I don't have any problem, but I clearly understand they're there to represent that part of it. It has a major thing called financial that's always involved because of just the nature of what we're doing with it. And rarely do you see eye to eye on that. And I accept the fact that George or any other player might want somebody else to speak of the financial matter. Let me be real clear. I have no issues at all with working with his agent, and I have no issue with the agent, him, not at all. When he's representing a player or someone that we have, coach, someone that we're with, then those issues are just obvious because the better job I can do for the club, the better off we are. The better job he can do for the player financially, the better off, better he gets. He gets more money.
Stephen had talked about how it's important that George be here for the off-season. When you talked to George, did you get any sort of assurance on off-season activities, and do you expect that from him?
Well, I know last year they had a great workouts with Dak, even before we got to any official workouts that were in the off-season. That's the way Dak really likes to do it. What I did get is how much it meant to George that he's working with Dak. And that was a big thing that I came away with, of how much that he appreciates what Dak is about, what he's about. Obviously, it's kind of unique, quarterbacks and receivers, and they're dependent on each other a lot. And that's not to say Dak's not dependent on that center either, but still we understand timing. And so to the end that they work through that, I'm sure it will. The idea of saying, well, you're going to do this, you're going to do that, all of it is in my mind George's best interest to come in and help us win and have a better season than we had last year. But I do know, and we wouldn't even be having this type of conversation, is that we are sold on his ability to be a part of the team, play for not only play for the good of the team. He's a outstanding teammate. All of that is why we have decided to pay him what we're paying him.
Hey Jerry, you think about the drama that the Cowboys have had with some of these high-profile players over the last few years. Do you anticipate this will be a little bit less dramatic in terms of the off-season and the cloud that it kind of creates?
I don't know what comes first. The substance, the significance of the player's situation, or the drama of a negotiation. Usually those happen when you have a more substantive player, and that is let's say, a perceived bigger difference maker. I really don't know how to do it and not have drama relative to his drama, the agent and the team involved in a negotiation, years, money, the amount of involved and what have you. I will tell you that while we may lead the league in the perception of drama, it's not that other clubs in sports, period, not just the NFL, have some drama when it gets to signing or not signing or trading high-profile players. I don't view that any extra visibility that we have here would be something that would probably have the Cowboys at a little level higher of visibility or interest anyway. So that, to answer your question specifically, the lack of drama is not an issue and is not a concern of mine at all. Anyway, it's not. And we fresh off of Micah. Micah didn't happen because of the agent. Micah didn't happen because of anything. But Micah was so valuable that our opportunity to take what we got from Micah was just too much. I couldn't turn it down. And so Micah, as far as enjoying him, he knows that we enjoy each other personally. And so I've never looked at it that way. That's a little harder to do now. If you haven't done it any more than he's done it, and it's about your talent or it's about your career, that's a little more to do than, let's say, one of my negotiations over some of the things I've been involved in over these last 83 years. So my point is, I recognize that I have absolutely nothing. When I think of Micah, I think of our best times. I think of our best years. And the reason I'm going into that is because I knew before we set out that with the Pickens situation that we were especially the same agent, but that was never personal, never with Micah in any way, form, or fashion. And the frailties or the process of visiting with you guys and how I express myself and what we do, that can make it good reading or some reading sometime. All I'm saying is, I'm saying it because I want you to know I'm aware of it. I'm not interested in doing anything or saying anything. I want our George Pickens relationship to be all honey.
Honey and money.
Very, very. That's good. I didn't say that because it sounds like I'm joking, but boy, that's pretty good. Seriously, I want it very clear that I can't tell you how positive we feel about him, and I would hope that our fans would look and say, you know, that's a lot of money they're putting out there relative to 6 months ago. And you say, well, but you could put more out there. Well, let's all give some credit over here to how we each should be managing this. But I expect George. I expect him to have an outstanding year.
When the season ended, you mentioned about the possibility of being more of a player in the offseason with free agency, things like that, potentially breaking the bank. You mentioned. Do you see this offseason being any different for you in terms of free agency?
Well, that's two questions. Do I see me ending up spending more money than maybe if you put a perfect picture together that the guy that's back there looking at the account would say we don't have any or don't have enough? I could see me being aggressive. I could see us being aggressive in free agency. And by the very virtue of having two number ones, we're going to spend more money in the draft than normally you would spend, even though we don't have a two. Everybody knows those two ones are dramatically different than a two financially. So we'll spend money. It'll be like the time that when I first got involved, they had a deal called Plan B, and that was a free agency kind of a start toward free agency. And every team had to expose so many players. And I was so proud of the fact of how much money, I think the figure was over $2 million at the time. But I was so proud of how much money, I think we outspent everybody in Plan B. And I was very proud of that. You have no idea how that cut into my available funds at the time. I have no idea, but I am excited about doing everything we can now to really have a better record than we had last year, a better team than we had last year. That's why we've been doing what we've been doing with the coaching staff. But to answer your question specifically, I would bet that we will spend more money in free agency than we have.
Spending more money and doing what the Rams did, pushing all your chips in, that's two different things, you know. And that I think you referenced you saying, you know, that postseason means we're going to bust the budget. There's a difference between being more aggressive and busting the budget. Do you know what I'm saying?
Well, we're semanticking.
Yes, semanticking is word.
Yes, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. First of all, I want you to know that the only way to push more is for me to go borrow some of my future.
Okay, right.
Okay? Expect me to go borrow some of my future. Okay, so that's one representation that you're thinking of now as opposed to in the future. But I look at things, frankly, beyond that. I look at where we are with Dak, and I look at where he is in his career. And I look at some of the pluses that we have on our front and what we think we can do there and what we can do with Pickens and Lamb and what we can do with our running back that we just signed. And so all of those things, I want to do everything we possibly can to stop somebody and to basically win some third downs more than we did last year. And so I think that would be the area that you would see me bust the budget. Whoever said that earlier. That was where you would see me do that, is what we're doing defensively. And I would expect anybody that's a Cowboy fan or a critic of the Cowboys to say, duh, that's not hard to see, Jerry, to do. But I guess what I'm doing is saying, yes, I intend to do that if given the opportunity.